Kuzva's Fishing Channel. I'm your host, Nick Kuzvas. You know, we just did a video started one on jerkbaits, talked about the X-80, and today we're going to continue that. We're going to talk about the X-80 and the Ito Shiner. Very similar, yet very different. So let's talk about the X-80 first of all. X-80, trick darter, just over 3 inches long right there, 3/8 ounce. So still a small jerkbait. You know, you'll notice a few differences here. First of all, it's high back. The profile of this bait is far different. It also has a cup in the lip there, as you could see right in here. Those two things combined give this bait a really hard side-to-side jerk. You know, so a lot of this. But then you also get this little wobble with it. This high back, little flatter sides. Gives it that little shimmy as it's moving from side to side. It's an aggressive jerkbait, but it's small profile. So I like this bait early in the year, and you'll sort of notice my trend. There's sort of a little pattern of how I do things, right? Smaller earlier in the year, less is more. But there are other situations. Like I said, I'd also want to use this on super clear, flat, calm days, smaller profile. These fish, these smallmouth in our clear waters can see fish a long distance away. They'll run 20, 30 yards away to eat this thing. That's how far they see it. It's amazing. They see things a lot further than you think. So a smaller profile like this is going to look more natural in the water. It's going to get bit more. It dives to about 6 feet. But again, calmer conditions is the key. Still a very aggressive bait for its size. Awesome, awesome summertime. Early summer to mid-summer, this is my deal. I'll use it in the spring as well, but generally, I like this bait. Again, it moves pretty easily through the water. Drags a little bit more water than, say, the X-80, and I use it in the spring, definitely, but post-spawn to me really starts to get a little bit better just because of the action and how aggressive I can fish it without having to work it too hard. Fantastic bait. Setup, like always, is key. Two rods that I love using with this X-80. One would be for the guy that's, you know, doesn't want to spend a crap load of money. It would be the Levante is a great entry-level Megabass rod. This is the Jerkbait Special, 611 f4.5, 3/8 to 3/4, I think, an 8 to 20 pound test. It is exact same specs as the Orochi XX, but because of the graphite, this rod has a little more bend in it, particularly in the belly. And I always talk about that belly bend and the importance. It does so many things, but the first thing that I always think about is, can this rod cast the bait? The XX is just overpowers that bait a bit. The Levante does it very well. This is like small to mid-sized jerkbait. It's my junior rod. It's my X-80 rod. I love it for this. A little bit more bend. Contact point, because of the graphite, tends to be a little further down the blank. So, you know, you can move that rod a little bit more to get the bait to work, and you don't overwork it. With a rod like the Orochi, it's a little bit crispier blank. The contact point is further up. So you need more of a tap. This rod allows you to kind of get a little bit deeper into the bend. It's a fun rod to fish. I love it. You know, and its price point is not crazy. $1.99 or $1.79 US. So it's not an expensive rod, but it's a great jerkbait rod. Fishes very well. It's light for what you're getting. It's very comfortable rod to use. I love it. I'll pair this up with a Tatula. This is a 100, and that's fine. I actually like the way it fits on this rod. But again, I like that 70, a little bit smaller in my hand. But generally, on this model here, I go with the 100. It just pairs it off nice. 8-pound test. I'll go to 10 in some situations. Like, for example, if I'm fishing a 110, and I already have 10-pound test, because that's kind of my go-to, and, you know, I want to go to a smaller profile, I'll throw the X-80. It works it fine. 8 is better. You know, I may have to hit it a little bit harder to get to do it. It's not a real big difference. The 10-pound test is fine. It casts better. You know, it's a little bit more durable, especially if you're around rock or cover that kind of scrapes up your line. 10-pound test is great. That's the Levante Jerkbait Special. Now, for the guy that wants to spend a little bit more, the enthusiast, you know, to me, there's no better stick than and I know I mentioned this before, is the 110 stick. P5 Destroyer. Man, it's next level. It's ultra light, small, 6.5 f4, so it's got a little bit more bend down the belly. And again, like connection with smaller baits, I like that bend. I don't mind that bend to be a little further down. I just feel I'm better connected. I know what that bait's doing a little bit more. I get a little deeper into the blank. It's a fun rod to fish. Man, it casts like a dream. Lots of belly bend. Super sensitive, crispy blank. Just fits nice in the hand. All day long, this is like Tatula 70. It's the best match, I think. This one's 100 again. To me, it's bigger than you want. A 70 size reel. If you're the guy that wants a little bit higher end, like a Steez CT would be the deal. But a Tatula 70, man, for the price point, it's great. For, again, the guy that's the enthusiast that wants to pair it perfectly, yeah, then it's a Steez CT absolutely would be the deal. Great little setup. Cast like a dream. SV spool. Just don't get backlashes anymore, even with a small bait. I love it. So those are my setups for that. Again, 8 to 10 pound test is pretty much money. If I have a rod specifically, like on this 110 stick, I pretty much have 8 pound testing all the time. Covers whether I want to throw a junior, an X-80, even a X-Nanahan in certain situations. 8 pound test is the way to go. So that's the deal with the X-80. The next one is the Edo Shiner. Now, I said earlier that they're very similar but very different. I mean, shape-wise, profile-wise, very shad-like, you can see. The high backs on them both, right? But the Edo Shiner is far bigger. This is a half-ounce bait. It's a quarter, is it 4.5, I believe, in length. It's a big profile bait, right? Same sort of deal, cupped in the lip. Now, this one, the X-80, smaller bait. So it has 2 balls that roll to the back. It's hard to see it on this bait, and then they fall. You'll see it move into the cavity here, and then you start to work. This one has 3 tungsten balls. So they go right to the back there. Hopefully you can see that. And then they fall in the cavity, just behind the front hook. Very similar. This is a 3-hook system, and these are number 4s. So bigger bait in general, like just bigger profile. Action is similar, but this tends to flow a little bit longer in the water, maybe 20 to 30% further, but a little bit longer, bigger profile. I love this bait. This is my summer bait. You know, mid-summer to late summer, even early October, or early to mid-fall, before those fish start going deep, bigger profile. You know, you get those perch coming in to those weed beds. They, you know, cooler water pulls those fish, pulls bait fish closer to the bank, around weed beds, you know, scattered grass, all that stuff. This is the deal. I love it. In windier conditions, you got a lot of chop on the water, a lot of turbulence, there's a lot of noise. This bait pulls more water. You could be more aggressive with it. It makes more noise, attracts more bites. I was thinking of something else now and I lost track. You know, if you're trying to fish it faster, covering water, you're looking for fish, this is the bait. You know, the X-80, the 110 family, I still consider them more of a twitch bait. You know, you can overwork them quite easy if you hit the baits too hard. So you can't work them as fast. This bait, you can get away with it. You can cover water super fast, hard to overwork it. You know, if I'm on big flats trying to find a group of fish, this is the bait that I go to. A lot of guys don't fish it. Like I've done seminars and talked to customers. They don't even know what an Edo Shiner is. Most people don't even see it. They know the 110 family. They go in there and they buy it. This is a bigger profile jerkbait. And again, it's all about, like I said, it fits a niche. It fits a little spot where the other baits may not work. This will. Where this one won't work, the X-80. So again, like I said before, you're adding another arrow to your quiver to make you a more complete angler. This one in late season, summertime, it's beautiful. Again, very similar to that. It's about a 6 foot. I can really get this down to 7 feet. 10 to 12 pound test is the deal. Again, bigger hooks. Needs a little bit more power to get those hooks in. But then your setup is a lot different now. Now your setup changes from what that X-80 is. So the 2 rods that I love with this, again, like I said, it was the sister or the brother to the jerkbait special in the Levante, would be the double X. Man, I'm hitting everything. And there you have it right there. So double X, same specs, f4.5, 6'11", fast action, medium rod. F4.5 is right down the middle, so medium rod. But the blank is a little crispier, so the reaction is going to be a little bit further up. But in the Ito Shiner case, if I want to be more aggressive, I can get it down further down that blank. And there's still a lot of bend in that blank, down the blank, to allow you to get in a bit deeper without overworking the bait. I love this rod. You know, it's a middle price rod, you know, in around that 3 and change mark. So you're not breaking the bank. But for that guy that wants a jerkbait rod, this was my favorite jerkbait at the time, and jerkbait rod. I loved it. Allowed me to do a little bit of the smaller stuff and the bigger stuff. It was sort of in between. A great rod for an array of different jerkbaits. Easy to work. Still fairly light, not too heavy in the hand. I pair this with a 100. Like, that's my deal. I'll go to a 70 from time to time, but it matches. The 100 really balances this rod out nice. Again, 10 to 12 pound test. Just depends on the situation. I may go to 12 pound when I'm around a little bit more cover. You know, more big boulders, stuff that I can get, you know, where I need that power to get that fish out. And that extra, going from 10 to 12, gives me that extra power to allow, I have that trust that I'm not going to break the line. Then I'll go to 12 pound test. But generally, day in and day out, it's 10 pound test to me. It is the double X. Again, for the enthusiast, the guy that wants to spend a little bit more money, the 110 special in the P5. The 110 stick is the smaller one, the 6.5. The baby brother, this is the big brother in the P5. Again, crispy blank, cast like a dream, super, super light. Beautiful looking rod. I love this. This is my favorite stick for the bigger jerkbaits. You know, I start getting into the +1s in the 110, the Ito Shiner, the LBO Max. This rod is the deal. Again, very light, sensitive, very responsive blank. And the key to a great jerkbait is what we call reverb or dampening. I don't want a blank that wobbles too much. You give it that shot and you go back and that tip wobbles. You want it to get right back to its original state. It messes with your cadence if that wobble continues. So these rods are really crispy. The retention rate is super fast, gets back to where you want, doesn't mess up your cadence. And we always change our cadence. So I love the fact that even when I'm giving it quick taps, it gets back. It doesn't mess up with that cadence. Gives you a nice, clean, smooth balance in your retrieve. Great, great rod. I pair this off again with a 100 Tatula SV. It's fantastic. For the guy that wants something a little bit better, man, that Steez A is the deal. Like, that is a dream setup. Steez A paired with this, beautiful. Again, 10, 12 pound test. It's the deal. So that's the setup for these two baits. Again, you know, if you haven't tried them, like I said, just get to your Megabass dealer, pick up a couple, try them out in these situations. You get a calm situation, you're throwing a 110, things aren't happening, try the X-80. You know, smaller bait, still aggressive, but smaller profile, and does have that nice little shad profile in lakes where you're fishing, you know, some shiners and shad and that kind of stuff, a little higher, different profile. That would be the deal. You know, and again, you get into your windy conditions later in the year, you have the Ito Shiner that's going to cover that. A little bit more noise. Maybe the water's a little dirtier in some situations. So you need to get that more noise, more pull in the water, a little bit more disturbance in that water is going to attract more bites. Again, more arrows in your quiver makes you a better angler. That's what it's all about. Folks, thank you so much. I'm Nick Kousvis, your host, Nick Kousvis Fishing Channel. Really appreciate you. Share, like, comment. You got questions, reach out. I love to help you be a better angler. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the water. Hey, are you still there? My good friends at the Rod Glove gave me a bunch of these neoprene tournament series rod gloves. They are incredible. The ultimate protection for your high-end stuff. I have them from all my rods. No scratches, no scrapes. They come in different lengths, so it covers pretty much whatever you want to, whatever rod you have in the bass world. That's the deal. So Rod Glove right there. I'm not affiliated with them, but he's a good buddy of mine. They got some great products. Check it out. Ultimate protection. Spending $500, $600, $700 on a rod, it should be covered all the time. Make sure your stick is covered all the time when you're not using it. All right.